The arrow that changed fate. The forest was silent. Only the wind moved, whispering through glowing blue leaves. Strange birds with crystal wings flew between the trees. Everything felt sacred. This was not Earth. This was Zael Torah, home of the Kavana tribe. It was the day of the sacred hunt, and the tribe had gathered in a circle. Warriors stood tall. Elders watched closely. In the center stood Velra, daughter of the High Matron, princess of the Kavana, and the most skilled archer of her kind. Her skin shimmered like polished bronze. Her hair was braided with feathers. Her golden eyes burned with pride. She raised her bow slowly. The elders spoke the old words. If the arrow flies true, the gods will guide its path. Let the one who dares catch it face destiny. This was tradition, a ritual challenge. Velra would fire her sacred arrow into the forest. If no one caught it, she remained free. But if someone did, she must bond with him. That was the law, old as the stars. She smirked. No one had ever caught the arrow. No one could. She let it fly. The arrow shimmered silver as it sliced through the air. The crowd gasped as it vanished into the trees. But then, snatch! A sharp sound echoed. The leaves rustled. A figure stepped out from the shadows, holding the arrow between two fingers. A human. He was tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in torn explorer gear. His skin was pale compared to the Kavana. Dirt covered his boots. His face was calm, but his eyes held confusion. He had no idea what he had just done. Velra's heart skipped. Her people gasped. Elders stood up. The human looked at the arrow, in his hand, and then at the crowd by, "Sorry. Was this important?" Velra stormed forward, her hand already on her blade. "You dare catch my arrow?" she shouted. The human blinked. "It was heading straight for my chest. What did you expect me to do?" Gasps again. One elder dropped his staff. The crowd started murmuring. "By sacred law," said Elder Tuv, voice shaking, "he has claimed the bond. She must marry him." The human took a step back. "Wait, what?" Velra's face turned red with rage. "You mock our customs. You shame me in front of my tribe." "I didn't mean to," he tried to explain, but she cut him off. "You caught the sacred arrow. I don't care if you're human, beast, or god. Now you are mine or you are dead." The human raised his hands. "Whoa, let's calm down. Can someone explain what's going on?" Elder Tuv stepped forward. "You are on Zael Torah, offworlder. You caught the sacred challenge arrow. By our oldest law, this makes you the fated, mate of the one who fired it. You must join with her or you may face battle to the death." The human's face went pale. "This is insane." Velra turned to the crowd. "I will not bond with some dirty outsider. He's weak. He's nothing." The human frowned. "I'm not weak, and I'm definitely not nothing." The two stared at each other. One alien princess full of fire and pride. One lost human with quick reflexes and a smart mouth. The crowd watched in silence. Velra lifted her chin. "You want to live, human? Then face me in the trial. If you survive, I'll accept this bond. If you fail, you die. Simple." The human sighed. "Great. First contact, and I'm already getting married or murdered." "What is your name?" she asked sharply. "Jack," he said. "Jack Carter. I'm a science officer. I didn't come here to steal anyone's arrows." Velra narrowed her eyes. "Then prepare yourself, Jack Carter. Tomorrow we face the trial." Jack looked up at the twin moons. The forest around him felt more dangerous now, and the alien warrior in front of him? She might be the most dangerous of all. A warrior's pride, a human's confusion. The sun rose over Zael Torah, casting golden light on the thick alien forest. The air smelled of spice and smoke. The camp buzzed with energy. Drums beat slowly. Warriors painted their arms. Elders gathered in circles, whispering about the human. Jack Carter woke up on a hard bed of moss inside a woven hut. He rubbed his head. His body still ached from his crash landing 3 days ago. He never expected to be stuck in a marriage ritual with an angry alien princess. He stepped out and found a crowd already watching him. Some looked curious. Others looked like they wanted him dead. And there she was, Velra. She stood tall in the center of the training ground, dressed in her black battle robes. Her golden eyes narrowed when she saw him. Her hair glowed in the light. Her posture was like that of a coiled serpent ready to strike. "Come, human," she said coldly. "Let us see if you are truly worthy of the bond you accidentally claimed." Jack raised his hands. "Look, Velra, I didn't mean to catch that arrow. It was reflex. I'm not trying to." She threw a wooden practice spear at his chest. Jack barely dodged. "Good reflex again," she said, almost smiling. Around them, the tribe gathered for the trial of matching, a test of movement, balance, and instinct. Not a fight to the death yet, but a public test of compatibility. If they matched in rhythm and strength, the bond could proceed. If not, they would be disgraced. Velra lunged at him. Jack blocked her strike with a wooden shield. "You call this dating?" "In my world," she hissed, "only warriors bond, not cowards who talk too much." They circled each other. She moved like lightning. Jack struggled to keep up but used his brain instead of brawn. He predicted her moves, used the ground, rolled when needed, and stayed out of reach. The crowd murmured. This human wasn't losing. In fact, he was adapting. Velra jumped, striking hard, and Jack caught her arm. They froze. Their eyes met. For a second, the world went silent. She pulled away sharply, her face unreadable. Jack let go without speaking. Elder Tuve stood up. "The trial of matching is complete. Both participants showed strength. Neither was defeated." The crowd clapped once, short and sharp, a sign of approval. But Velra was not pleased. She stormed. "Away!" Jack called out, "Hey, what now?" She didn't turn around. "Now we prepare for the bond ceremony, unless you wish to flee and live like a coward." Jack stood in silence as the crowd began to walk away. One young alien boy approached him. "Sir, you caught her arrow, and you didn't die. Maybe you are the one the old stars spoke of." Jack smiled awkwardly. "I just wanted to avoid getting skewered." He looked toward the hill where Velra had gone. There was fire in her heart, pride in her blood, and a law that now tied him to her. He didn't know if he was falling into trouble, or something deeper, the bond that burned brighter than fire. The night sky above Zael Torah sparkled with twin moons and drifting star clouds. A sacred fire burned in the center of the village. Drums beat softly. Alien flowers released glowing mist into the air. It was the time of the bonding ritual. Jack stood beside the fire, dressed in ceremonial robes given to him by the Kavana. They were too tight. He scratched at his neck. "Why do these robes feel like they're strangling me?" he muttered. Beside him stood Velra, silent and serious. Her battle paint was gone. In its place was a silver headpiece and flowing black and gold robes. She looked like a queen of flame and shadow. Beautiful, yes, but also untouchable. Jack glanced at her. "So, we're really doing this, huh?" She didn't answer. Her eyes stared into the fire. Elder Tuve stepped forward and raised his hands. "By the stars and stone, we call upon the bond of fate. The arrow has flown. The path has been chosen." He poured blue liquid into the fire. It flared up, casting eerie shadows across the ground. The tribe formed a wide circle around them, humming softly. "Speak your truths," the elder said. Velra spoke first, voice sharp and clear. "I am Velra of the Kavana, daughter of warriors, keeper of the sacred flame. I do not trust easily. I do not love lightly, but I honor our law. I stand here because fate demands it." Jack hesitated, then spoke slowly. "I'm Jack Carter. I came here by accident. I didn't mean to catch that arrow, but maybe it wasn't an accident. Maybe I was meant to meet you. I don't know your ways. But I respect them. And I respect you." Velra's eyes flicked toward him. Just a glance. But something in her expression softened, barely. Elder Tuve nodded. Now the bond of fire. He handed them both a small glowing stone. Drop it into the flames together. They reached out at the same time. Their hands touched. A spark shot through Jack's fingers. As the stones dropped, the fire blazed high and bright. The flame turned violet, a rare sign. The tribe gasped. A flame of mind link, whispered an elder. Suddenly, Jack's head pulsed. His thoughts weren't alone. He saw flashes. Velra as a child, training with a spear. Velra kneeling before her mother, tears on her face. Velra alone, hiding her pain behind pride. And then, Velra saw him, Jack floating in his damaged escape pod, whispering his daughter's name. Jack watching Earth from orbit, dreaming of going. Their minds touched only for a moment. Then the link broke. Velra staggered back, her eyes wide. You lost someone. Jack looked away. I lost everything. For once there was no mockery in her voice, only silence. Elder Tuve smiled gently. The bond is accepted by the fire. The union has begun. The tribe clapped twice, louder this time. But Jack and Velra didn't speak. They simply stood together. Not lovers, not enemies. Something in between. Something new. As the tribe sang and danced, Velra leaned closer and whispered, "This changes nothing." Jack replied, "Maybe, or maybe it changes everything." The human's heart holds a weapon night turned to morning on Zaeltora. The fire from the bond ritual still smoldered in the village center. Most of the tribe had returned to their huts, singing, fading into sleep. But Velra stayed awake. She stood outside her tent, arms crossed, eyes on the stars. Inside the guest tent, Jack was wide awake too. His head still hurt from the mind link. Not just from seeing Velra's memories, but from something deeper. When their thoughts touched, something inside him had stirred, something not human. He looked at his wrist. A glowing line now pulsed under his skin. He hadn't told anyone yet. Earlier that day, while fixing his crashed escape pod in secret, he had scanned his body. The readings were strange. His emergency nanotech had fused with alien energy when the ship passed through Zaeltora's atmosphere. His blood now carried something the Kavana tribe had never seen, a hybrid energy signature. It wasn't just biology anymore. He was part machine now, and not by choice. As Velra walked past his tent, she paused. Jack stepped out. "Can't sleep either?" She didn't answer at first. Then she said, "You hide something." Jack smiled faintly. "Everyone hides something." "No," she said, her eyes glowing. "I felt it during the mind link. Your thoughts had walls, cold metal behind soft feelings." Jack sighed. "I didn't ask for this. My body changed when I landed here. The nanotech inside me mixed with this planet's energy. It's still inside me. I think it's learning." Velra stepped closer. "You carry power, dangerous power. I didn't want it, but it's there." They were silent. Then, Velra asked something no one else had. "Does it hurt?" Jack blinked. "Yes," he said softly. "Not just the body. It's lonely." Velra looked at him differently now, not with anger, but with quiet respect. She turned. "Come, you must see something." She took him to a sealed cave, guarded by 2 warriors. They stepped aside when they saw her. Inside the cave, glowing crystals lit the walls. Old carvings lined the stone. "This is the Hall of Echoes," she said. "Only bonded ones may enter. Here, we keep the prophecies of the Kavana." Jack stepped forward and saw a carving on the wall. It showed a strange figure, not fully alien, not fully machine, surrounded by fire and stars. Velra touched the carving. "Long ago, our seers spoke of a star-blooded one. He would not be born here, but would come through fire. He would carry a broken world inside him." Jack's chest tightened. The prophecy, it sounded like him. "You think I'm this star-blooded one?" "I think," she said quietly, "you are not here by accident." Suddenly, a loud horn blew in the distance. Both of them turned. A scout ran into the cave. Velra, the Blackclaw Raiders, they're moving toward the valley. Velra's face turned hard. They plan to strike during our bond week. Cowards, Jack asked. Who are they? Outlaws. They kill tribes, take slaves. They hate the Kavana. The scout added, they have war beasts and tech. Jack stepped forward. Then let me help. Velra raised an eyebrow. You are not one of us. You barely know our ways. Jack looked down at his hand where the nanotech shimmered faintly. But I carry something your enemies won't expect. Something even I don't fully understand. She stared at him, then nodded. Prepare yourself, Jack Carter, she said. Your trial has truly begun. Into the trial of flames, where death chooses. Whose worthy smoke rose like fingers into the purple Zaeltora sky. In the middle of a wide stone arena stood Jack, shirt torn, chest marked with tribal symbols and sweat dripping from his brow. All around him, Kavana warriors stood on raised platforms, chanting. Above them, elders watched in silence. The trial of flames had begun. On the far end of the ring, giant braziers roared with fire. Between Jack and the flames stood a deadly path, swinging blades, searing steam vents, and platforms that moved without warning. No outsider had ever crossed it, and no one, not even Velra, had expected a human to try. Let him burn, someone in the crowd shouted. He has no honor. He is not one of us. But Velra stood silently beside the High Matron. Her eyes never left Jack. She had demanded this trial when Jack caught her arrow, and now watching him, something inside her twisted. He didn't run. He didn't tremble. He just stepped forward. The signal horn blew. Jack sprinted onto the first platform. The ground shifted under his feet. He jumped just in time. Steam blasted from below. He rolled past it, barely missing the burn. Swinging blades dropped. He ducked and slid beneath them, one blade slicing his shoulder. The crowd gasped. Velra didn't move, but her jaw clenched. Halfway through, Jack stumbled. His legs shook. The heat was rising. The nanotech inside him flared. He felt it reinforcing his bones, strengthening his muscles, but it came with pain. The fire inside him and the fire outside began to blend. He reached the second-to-last platform, and it collapsed. Jack fell, but just before he hit the ground, his arm shot out and caught the edge. Sparks flew from his skin where his nanotech reacted with the stone. He pulled himself up, roaring with pain. Then he stood. One last jump to go. He stared at the final platform, surrounded by a ring of fire. From the crowd, Velra whispered, "Don't you dare give up." Jack ran. He jumped straight through the flame. The fire wrapped around him, but something strange happened. It bent. It curved around his body like wind avoids a solid wall. The violet flame from the bond ceremony flickered faintly along his skin. He landed on the platform with a heavy thud. The fire died. Silence. Then the crowd roared. Elder Tuve stood. The trial of flames has chosen. The outsider lives. The bond stands. The warriors pounded their weapons on the ground, but not all were cheering. Some looked uneasy. Velra walked down into the arena, her eyes locked on Jack. He stood, barely breathing, smoke rising from his back. She walked up to him and said nothing for a moment. Then softly, "You survived. You impressed my people." Jack gave a small smile. Wasn't trying to impress, just didn't want to die. Velra surprised him. She smiled too, but it faded quickly. She leaned in and whispered, "They fear you now. Not all will accept you. The trial proves strength, not loyalty." Suddenly a horn blew again, but this time it came from the southern watchtower. A scout screamed from above, "The Blackclaw Raiders are here!" Panic spread through the arena. Elder Tuve shouted, "Warriors, defend the gates!" Velra turned to Jack. "Can you fight?" Jack looked at his burned hands, his shaking legs, the glow in his veins. I don't know what I am anymore, he said. But I'll fight. Velra nodded. Then stand with me. As the first sky beasts of the Blackclaw appeared on the horizon, wings casting shadows over the land, the human and the alien warrior stood side by side, facing the storm. Betrayal in the firelight. The blade that came from behind flames rose from the outer walls of the Kavana village. Blackclaw raiders rode on sky beasts with steel wings, dropping firebombs from above. Warriors screamed. Mothers ran with children. Horns echoed through the trees. Jack stood near the west gate, gripping a tribal spear. His body ached from the trial of flames, but the nanotech in his blood kept him upright. It pulsed with heat, reacting to the fear and the fire around him. Beside him, Velra fought like a storm. She moved with grace and fury, her twin blades slicing through raiders with terrifying skill. But even as they pushed back the first wave, something felt wrong. Jack noticed it first. Kavana warriors were falling too easily. Some raiders got past the gates, without resistance. It didn't make sense. Then he saw one of the Kavana, a warrior painted in green tribal colors. Stab, another Kavana in the back. Jack's eyes widened. They're inside. Someone betrayed us. Velra turned sharply. Who? Before Jack could answer, a sharp explosion knocked them both to the ground. Smoke filled the air. From the haze, Elder Tuve appeared, bleeding, stumbling, pointing, toward the great hut. They're inside. They've gone for the source flame. Velra's eyes went cold. If they take the source, our bond, our tribe, it all dies. They ran toward the central hut, cutting through chaos. Inside, raiders fought guards near a glowing blue crystal that floated above a silver bowl. It was the source flame, a living energy that kept the tribe strong. It powered their rituals, their weapons, even their bond ceremonies, and someone stood near it already, General Corrin, a respected Kavana warrior, Velra's own cousin. He turned, his eyes hard. You shouldn't have brought him here, he said, nodding at Jack. This human has poisoned our traditions. Velra stepped forward. You betrayed us, why? The law is weak, Corrin shouted. You should have chosen a warrior of our kind, not this soft outsider. He earned the bond, he survived the trial. And that scares them, Corrin barked. He threatens everything we built. Jack looked around. More warriors in green paint were entering the hut. Loyal to Corrin, Velra whispered, we're outnumbered. Jack's nanotech sparked. Maybe, but not outmatched. Corrin lunged first. Jack blocked with his spear. Velra spun beside him, blade clashing with another traitor's. They moved as one, finally in sync. Their bond, once forced by tradition, now connected through battle. Jack activated his nanotech. His veins glowed. He dodged faster, struck harder. He wasn't just fighting. He was adapting. Velra saw it too. He wasn't just human anymore. He was becoming something else. But then Corrin reached the source flame. He threw a device at it, a black orb that hummed with deadly power. No. Velra shouted. Corrin smiled. If I can't save the tribe, I'll end it. Jack didn't think, he ran. He dove forward, grabbed the orb, and shoved it into the ground behind him. His nanotech wrapped around it just as it exploded. The blast threw him against the crystal wall. Silence. Then, the source flame pulsed again. Untouched. Velra ran to Jack. He was alive, but barely. His hands were burned. His chest barely rose. Corrin growled and charged again, but Velra stood between them. No more, she said, and with one clean strike, ended the betrayal. Later, when the fires had faded and the traitors were caught, Velra sat by Jack's side in the healing hut. He opened his eyes weakly. Did we win? She nodded. Because of you. He tried to smile. You still mad about the arrow? She looked at him quietly. Then she reached for his hand. Not as duty, not by law, but from something real. You're no longer just part of this tribe, Jack Carter, she said. You are the tribe. Outside, the sun rose over a wounded but standing village, and deep inside the human's veins, The strange energy sparked again, growing stronger. The warrior who could leave, but chose to stay 1 week later. The fires of battle had been extinguished. The broken walls of the Kavana village were rebuilt. Songs had returned, though they were softer, quieter. The tribe had survived, but it had changed, just like Jack Carter. He stood alone on the edge of the cliff, overlooking the jungle. The wind lifted his hair, and the air buzzed faintly with the planet's strange energy. Below, the forest glowed, with light from creatures that only came out at dawn. In his hands he held the last signal beacon from his escape pod, fully charged, ready to call Earth. He could be rescued in minutes. He could go home. But was Earth still his home? Behind him, quiet footsteps approached. Velra stood a few feet away, arms folded, expression unreadable. "You haven't activated it yet," she said. Jack didn't turn. "Still deciding." "You've already decided," she replied softly. "You're just afraid to say it out loud." Jack looked at the beacon, then back at her. "I came here to escape. Then I crashed. Then you tried to kill me? Then you almost married me." "I did marry you," she corrected. Jack smiled a little. "Right." They stood in silence, the kind that didn't need to be filled. Velra finally spoke again. "You've changed. You're stronger now, faster, your blood glows." Jack held up his hand. The nanotech shimmered faintly beneath his skin. "It's like this planet rewrote me. I don't think I'm fully human anymore." "Does that frighten you?" Jack paused. "It used to, but now I think I understand I'm not just made to survive. I'm made to belong somewhere, and Earth never made me feel like this." Velra stepped closer. "You belong here?" "Do I?" he asked, genuinely unsure. "You carry the flame now," she said. "You passed the trial. You defended the source. The Kavana speak your name in their fire songs. My people no longer see you as a stranger." Jack met her eyes. "What about you? Do you?" Velra's voice softened. "I saw your soul during the bond. I know your fears, your grief. You lost your home, but you gave my people a future. You didn't just catch my arrow, Jack. You caught my heart." He blinked. She stepped even closer and whispered, "If you leave, I won't stop you. That's your right. But if you stay, we rebuild together." Jack looked down at the signal beacon one last time. Then slowly he turned it off. The tiny screen went black. That day, the village gathered to witness something never seen before. A second bond ceremony, this time not by tradition, but by choice. Velra and Jack stood hand in hand as the source flame lit the circle. The flame burned violet again, brighter than before. The bond between them was no longer a law. It was a living connection, forged in fire, blood, and respect. The warriors who once mocked Jack now raised their weapons in salute. Elder Tuve gave a rare smile. "Let this bond guide a new age." 3 months later, Jack stood at the front of a new scouting force made up of both Kavana and humans from a recently arrived Earth delegation. The signal beacon had eventually been reactivated, but Jack had sent a different message. "Do not rescue. Come learn." Now Earth and Zaltora had started talks, but Jack, he stayed where he belonged. He helped design energy shields using both human tech and source flame knowledge. He trained young warriors how to fight using both minds and machines. And Velra? She led beside him, not behind, not in front. Together. One evening, as the twin moons rose high again, Velra sat beside Jack outside their new home, half-woven hut, half-metal cabin. She rested her head on his shoulder. "You never told me," she said, "why you caught the arrow." Jack chuckled. "It was coming fast, reflex." "No," she said, "that's not the real reason." Jack looked up at the stars. "Maybe I was always meant to catch it. Maybe it wasn't just an arrow." Velra looked at him. "What was it then?" He smiled. "A second chance." And on a world where flame and steel once ruled alone, a human heart lit a new fire, one that would never fade,